And we're back, and we're taking a look at the new Carisma Subaru Impreza WRC. It's on the m48s chassis, which is a new platform for them as far as chassis setup. I don't believe there's another one. I think there was an M40. The 8 means 8 scale. The box art on this is kind of cool, but it's kind of cartoony. I wish they would have actually put a realistic picture of the actual car on here. This thing is pretty awesome. I've already taken a look at it, but I'm going to just kind of showing you guys what it looks like in the box. We'll open it up and take a look at it. I'm going to turn this into a project car. We're going to turn it into a tire shredding machine. The box art on this one is pretty cool. I kind of like what they did, but I wish they would have used a realistic picture. I think that would have been better for customers or anybody that's buying this to get an idea of what's in the box. This cartoony looking paint job is kind of more like what Tamiya does with their stuff. So it says here on the box, we'll just go over it real quick: high-speed servo, oil-filled dampers, independent suspension, tarmac spec tires, full-time four-wheel drive, high-speed power system unit, 2.4 gigahertz radio system, metal gear transmission, factory assembled, just to add a battery. Let's flip it around. Over here is the specs on wheelbase, and the wheelbase is 319 millimeters, and it is right within the same width and everything as the other rally cars that are out there. So it should be fun if anybody wants to race them and get them together. Now you have some stuff that's comparable. 10 scale rally cars are kind of fun, but they don't perform very well. They're super small, super low to the ground. These 8 scale ones should handle better, bigger tires, and you could have a lot more fun with friends and stuff and ripping them through the dirt. They're not made for big jumps, just little hills and stuff like a real rally car. We're going to go ahead and just bust into this thing real quick. I'm not going to make this too terribly long. Okay, so we got it out of the box. It's pretty cool looking. Let's just go over what you get in the box. You get a manual with a sheet of stickers, no tools or anything, some warranty information. There's no tools or any of that kind of stuff in the box whatsoever. You do get your 2.4 gigahertz transmitter. Transmitter, you know, feels pretty decent. Yeah, it just doesn't have a foam wheel, which is preferred. But it has a decent feel. It doesn't feel too bad in the hand. Also takes 4 AA's. Just a pretty basic radio. Not terrible looking. And then you get the car. And this car is pretty awesome looking. It's a little bit bigger than you imagine. I think looks good. The size of the wheels are good. They did a really good job on this. It's fully licensed. It is one of the older styles, but the most iconic rally car look out there. I mean, anybody that's seen a rally car, heard of rally car, this is the car that you most associate with rally. Just the iconic look, the Collin McRae design, and the Subaru livery. Pretty nice looking. Has some hard molded plastic pieces on it, which is basically just the mirrors. And they look like they should be super, well, they spin a little bit. And then they got a hard molded plastic rear wing. I don't know how this thing holds up. Some of the videos I've already seen on this, I didn't see that the wing had broke. Also has kind of a rear diffuser in the back that's attached to the chassis. Yeah, I like it a lot. This is the one of the cars I wanted to do a project on. Talk about that more in a minute. Let's go ahead and take the body off. Now, one thing that I wish they could have done is did the tinted window solid, but this is kind of a rally car. It's going to get dirty. Where it has such big windows, you'd just be staring at electronics anyway, so I guess it's not big a deal. Okay, and there's the m48s chassis. It's all, I think it's new. It probably shares a few parts with something else, but it's basically new. It runs this composite chassis on the bottom. This stuff is super strong. Shouldn't have any issues with that. Nice little skid plates into the front bumpers. The rear diffuser on the back looks pretty good. We got H-arm suspensions front and rear there. I like the look of these tires. They're wider tires in the back than they are in the front. The compound feels nice, and they do have foam inserts in them. And then the first thing that stands out is the aluminum front tower-to-tower brace. Just going to take away any of that chassis flex. This isn't a vehicle you're going to be long bombing it or anything, but if you hit a curb, it'll kind of help from the flex. We've got dog bones in the front and dog bones in the rear. Dog bone center drive shafts. They are all steel though. We got our servo saver. Says it's high torque. I don't know what that means. And the servo itself, they say, is high torque. It's in there. It is equipped with a servo saver that is fairly loose, but it is adjustable. I'll probably crank that down a little bit. An enclosed receiver box. We don't know how waterproof that is, but I'm sure it could be sealed up if need be. They got the wires routed and just kind of stuffed under this little thing. Keeps them out of the way. XT60 connector. It has got front and rear sway bars. You can see this big sway bar up on top. Kind of a weird way they mounted the upper one. Not exactly the tightest fit. And they got one in the rear that's on the lower section down there. Shocks feel like they could use a little bit of tuning. We'll just have to see how it handles. It has aluminum caps, aluminum upper caps, with a plastic attachment point, plastic knurled ring, and plastic bodies, it looks like. So a pretty basic shock, something that could be upgraded probably pretty easy. I'm going to guess Carisma is going to come out with some upgrades. As far as I know, they already have a front light bar for this thing. That's the classic huge bubbly light bar. I'm not a big fan of it, so I'm not going to get that for my car. There's something to note. I'm curious. The way that you mount the battery is standing up on its side inside here, so I'm curious how hard packs actually fit in there, because they ran, you can see they ran the drive shaft straight down the center of the chassis, which is great for alignment and everything to be free, but without it being offset, it makes you have to run the battery a little different. So we'll have to check that out in a second. Comes with I don't know what kind of speed controller that is. An inexpensive Chinese one that's made for them. It's not a Hobby Wing based at all. Same with the motor. The motor is a little bit small for this car. Being an 8 scale, it should have been a 550. And something with a higher KV. So that's one thing I was going to do with this car. I really like the look of the car. Simplicity. Access to parts shouldn't be too difficult for me. So the thing I wanted to do with it is make it a lot faster. This car is not fast out of the box. There's been some other videos talking about how it's quite slow for being a brushless system, and the adjustability is not the greatest. I'm not sure what is the KV of this thing. I'm not sure that I see a KV rating on this motor, but it's a low KV. So two things is, can this be geared up? I've heard that it can't really be geared up. I don't know if there's a way to modify the mount so that you can get the gearing up and still use this to get more speed out of it. But the biggest thing I would say is probably just bolt in a different motor with a higher KV. I actually have a Hobby Wing 540 can that is like a 4600 kV. I don't even know what to use it in. I've had it forever. Never used it. I think the motor's basically brand new, and I think it'd work good in this, and probably only going to be able to be in 4600. Probably will only run 2S, but we'll see. Maybe we can run 3S on it and it'll hold up. That should wake it up a lot. 4600 on 3S. But that's what my plan is with this car. So this speed controller, after reading the side of it, it only handles 2S. So we're going to try a 4600 kV motor with this speed controller to see what it does. There is a lot of brands out there. The Hobby Wing that I have probably costs, I don't know, somewhere around $60 or so. There's a nice foam bumper to help protect the body and the car. Got some adjustments on the upper links here, and not on the knuckle, but on the on the shock tower. So we got some adjustments on the shock tower here to adjust the links if we need to do any kind of tuning. The shocks have 2 positions on the top, 2 positions on the rear, or on the bottom and the front, and the rear is the same. It looks that the shock towers are identical front and rear. The arms are different front and rear, so that's good. They're different. We got these plastic braces here that also help support the chassis. I mean, there is no flex in this thing. And there is a little bit of chassis twist. But chassis twist can also help with traction, or this is an off-road car, that'll probably be pretty good. The one thing I didn't notice at first that's sticking out like a sore thumb now that I noticed it is all Phillips head screws. Yucky. We do not like Phillips head screws in hobby cars. I am going to see if I can get me a stainless steel screw set. Okay, so we're going to take the gear cover off and see if it is adjustable or not. You have to remove the 5 screws off of the gear case cover, but in order to get the gear case cover off, because the spur gear sticks up so high, you have to get this brace up, and it doesn't just slide out really easy. It's keyed into the shock tower, or actually the body mount that's here that keys to the shock tower, so you have to undo it from the shock tower, just pull it back a little bit, and it just lifts up enough you can get to it. So it's not too bad to work on. We got a plastic spur gear, and there is some room for adjustment in there. I think you could get quite a few teeth on there. I think this is a decent platform. I want it because it's a project. There's a few things that I would do differently. I'd get some titanium turnbuckles and some rod ends so that the camber links and everything are adjustable. That would be pretty cool to get done, and probably find some shocks that'll fit this that are all aluminum. And that's it. If you guys are looking to get a rally car, 8 scale, big size, and you want the Subaru, I think this one is probably worth it. That's probably worth a little bit of extra. You'll be saving a little bit of money over the HPI Flux version of their Subaru. That thing's quite a bit more money. And then the Sen Rally Puma is also pretty fast, pretty quick, but it's also more expensive than this one. So if you're looking to have something a little bit different and don't mind either upgrading the pinion, get a little more speed out of it, or maybe just swapping out a system, you have a little bit of wiggle room there to where you'd be about to the same price as buying the Sen one brand new. Anyway, I don't think it's a bad car, but we'll see. So if you guys like this video, let me know. Like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.